All right. How's it going, my magnificent sons of bitches? And I know that a lot of you don't know because a lot of you don't follow this shit, and I don't blame you. I honestly don't blame you. I don't even understand why I even decided to jump back on Twitter. I'm also on Truth Social. You know what? I'll probably leave a link below each video of this right here. I've got one up on Twitter that no one will probably watch on Twitter because nobody watches my shit on Twitter. They're too busy trying to escalate bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's really at the end of the day trying to sell their own brand on Twitter to each other. It's corporate shills trying to sell products to other corporate shills, and they pretend like there's an audience out there for their own immediate remedial platforms. So I don't think that I'm going to get a lot of views from Twitter, but I've got YouTube here and I got Facebook, and for whatever reason, I'll go ahead. I have a Truth Social. I need to find out if I think that Truth Social does a lot with Rumble. I'm not exactly sure how I could connect this StreamYard with Rumble and Truth Social, so that may be another platform that I'll look to invest in is Truth Social. And like I said, I'll leave a link below as soon as this video is uploaded. I should have left it in the description, but oh well. So this video is basically self-explanatory, as in the whole thing going on. And if you were to watch the mainstream media, which very few people do, at the end of the day, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that you're not misinformed by the psychological operation, fucking network television media sources and shit, because they say some of the dumbest shit that doesn't make any sense. I mean, you take the Young Turks, right? Cuties comes out and all of a sudden they're just pro pedophilia. Oh, we need to go ahead and look at it from this perspective. It's black, and they go on and something like that. They'll sit there and defend. Always they're always going to take the wrong side of the issue. However, somebody goes out, has an abortion at 24 weeks, has a stillborn, burns the fucking body, and buries it in the backyard somewhere, and all of a sudden people are outraged saying cancel Facebook because they assisted with this crime, which it was a fucking crime, regardless of what the Neanderthals. And like I said, for the most part, Twitter, if anybody happens to accidentally stumble on this on Twitter, and you're a shill on Twitter doing your little shill shit, typing in those little fucking jabs that you try to take at everybody like you're so hip and edgy, shit that we were doing 10 years ago, probably using some of the same fucking insults that we used 10 years ago, just mimicking motherfuckers. Do you think that this is a fucking sane? This looks sane to anybody else? And nobody on fucking Facebook is on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Very few, not very many people have a Facebook and a Twitter, to be honest with you. And those motherfuckers that have a Facebook are not going to delete it because you're triggered that the cops arrested somebody who essentially performed an illegal act and is going to do time for it. They don't give you any real information, so watching the mainstream media for information is just a waste of time. However, one of the things that they're doing in the mainstream media is trying to push for civil war. This has all of a sudden come into the mainstream media narrative. Now, with this being said, Civil War propaganda, and people like I've heard it from who's that, Tim Pool and whatnot, for about a couple of years. I think Sticks X and Hammer shares my sentiment as far as like Civil War goes. I'm watching Hard Bastard right now, and he is going over some of the shit that the left is trying to stoke, and both sides are trying to stoke it. Don't get me wrong. The propagandists on the right are trying to stoke it just like the propagandists on the left. It's insanity at the end of the day. However, with that being said, and of course, this is all related to Trump's political campaign, his political movement, and ultimately the cult of personality that the left has themselves built up. Now, I've already come to the decision that I'm probably not going to vote in 2024. I doubt I may vote in 2022. It just depends on how this, um, vote goes tomorrow as it pertains to the Inflation Reductions Act. You know what I'm saying? If it passes, then I'm probably not going to go out and vote in 2022. If they manage to go ahead and not pass it, then yeah, I'm going to go ahead and vote in 2022. Get the fucking morons out of the fucking, let's go ahead and get the crayons out of the Democrats' hands. They're going to fucking kill you economically. However, with this being said, whenever we look at the reputation right now from people on the left, first off, DC and the State Department have no reputation. They have no confidence from anybody, really, at the end of the day. You're talking about all-time lows and everything. And so they're desperate. This is an act of desperation. This whole year has been nothing more than an act of desperation. The overturning of Roe v. Wade, regardless of which side you stand on it, I'm pro-life myself, but it was an act of desperation. Ultimately, abortion should be illegal anyways, regardless. And this is only after your mandates that you passed. After you did the IDs and the mandates, you effectively made abortion illegal. And this isn't up for debate. We're not going to sit here and say we need to take it to the Supreme Court and go through the proper channels. No, it's just illegal. Period. At the end of the fucking day. And you made it that way. Not me. You made that shit illegal. So we look at the left, right? And they, there's this story going around. Now, I don't know how much is true because a lot of the shit's psychological operations. A lot of it's staged. Everybody will call me a conspiracy theorist, and everybody say not everything's staged. Anything that you're going to fucking see on the mainstream media and invest in that goes viral, that's going to be pushed out there to the masses, is staged for the most part. You know what I'm saying? All the shit like this Inflation Reduction Act and shit like that, where they're going to sit there and hire 87,000 IRS agents, which isn't going to fucking help them. 87,000 IRS agents are going to, what? It's a threat. It's a posturing thing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're going to hire all these IRS agents and we're going to fucking tax you because you're getting out of line. You don't have that fucking power. You don't have the fucking confidence anymore. This nation is, really becoming a subordinate nation at the end of the day. DC is a fucking paper tiger. So this is all desperation. So whenever you look at the Democrat Party and forget about the Republicans are just a fucking proxy. They're a proxy. They're just somebody there to give you the, perception. You elect a Democrat for these policies not to get passed. And that's the only reason why people really vote for Republicans is that they're not going to get a lot of they'll get tax cuts and they'll, because that's their position, or their perception of their position, but they're not going to, they are just trying to goat the conservatives, Christian family oriented voters into, well, you can come in here, Andre, if you want to. I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description. You don't have to. I'll just leave it anyways. Dark Horse may come in here too, so I don't know. So I'll leave this link in the description if anybody wants to join me. Feel free. Let me go ahead and post this in the comment section. So it's in the comment section. So if anybody comes across this and wants to join in, has something. But yeah, you're right, Andre. It's at the end of the day, it's DC. They're desperate, right? And ultimately, right now, there's no way that there's going to be a civil war. That's impossible. You've already passed that contingency of possibly even having a civil war. It's just not it's not a thing. There isn't enough, there has to be support from both sides. There can't just be support from one side. And currently, there's only support for one side. there's the illusion of support for the left. There's illusion, but whenever you even look at their abortion shit, whenever you look at their little marches that they're doing, they're not able to hire the little how you say the little proxies and stuff, the little actors. Whenever they pay these people, they're not even able to get an amount of those anymore. You know what I'm saying? Those funds have kind of dried up, and you know, this is what the Democrats are looking at right now. Now, this is, I'm going to get a little bit biblical here, but a lot of you are going to be like, well, I don't believe in that. Doesn't really matter because this is the truth. The Democrats are Satan. That's it. There's no other way to describe them. And now you're like, I don't believe in Satan. Well, it doesn't really matter if you believe in Satan or not. Satan still exists. Satan just means adversary. And the Democrats are your adversary. It also means accuser, and they're always the ones that are accusing everybody else. How many times have you talked to anybody in the media or any of these people on the left, and they always call you an alt-right, Hitler, fucking homophobe, xenophobe, all the phobes and shit? They are Satan. They are the definition of Satan. They fit every respective definition of Satan. The left can use all the cheap tactics they want. You can't beat the natural virtuous at the end of the day. And you're right. So that's how what is Satan's main weapon against people? In every case, in every scenario, what is Satan's main weapon, which is confusion? Whenever you look at the Democrats, they're always moving goalposts. They're always changing the context of the situations. They're always changing definitions. They're always changing every fucking thing, where you can't even sit there and say that this is a man and this is a woman, this is male, this is female. They're always, yes, they are the side of Satan. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, it's true. They are Satan. They are Satan. And they always use confusion. Just like, they've always used, Satan has always used, just like in the Garden of Eden, whenever he said, eat this fruit, and you'll be like gods. This is how Satan operates. And it doesn't matter whether Satan is just one fucking serpent on a tree, or a group, an ideology, a position, a political party. It doesn't matter. In every fucking single form Satan is, he always uses confusion. And which party offers the most confusion? Where you can't call it a man or a woman, and you can't identify certain shit. You've got to use pronouns. They're always advocating for all of these, like the pedophilia shit and drug uses, and they should be funded and taken care of and pampered like the babies that they are. And it's everybody else's fault except for theirs. Everything that's going on in life, it's everybody else's fault. They are the first ones to sit there and point fingers, but they don't want to sit there and actually do anything. The left remind me of the singer of the song Dear God by Ecstasy. A very satanic, dark, soulless presence. He must have been related to the Clintons, Rothschilds, or the Rockefellers. It may be. I had to listen to that. I'll have to look it up on YouTube. But like I said, with that being said, the Democrats are the party of Satan. They are the party of Satan. They are the Satanist party. They are Satan. And they use confusion. They use it against everybody. And this is why it's a waste of time to sit there and invest in journalism. This is why it's in to celebrity worships. It's the party of inversions. Whatever is right is wrong, and whatever is wrong is right. They're entitled, they're spoiled, and they're never going to take personal responsibility. They're not the party to do that. And if you look at their, states, and if you look at every place that this progressive, leftist, satanic Democrat Party is ever implemented in and given authority. First off, they take complete and utter control and authority, like dictators in California, where you can't get any you can't get any honest politicians that want the best for that state anymore. No, it's just going to continue to dilapidate. It's going to continue to sink further and further. Same thing with New York. They're fucking authoritarians. That's all they're about is complete rule. And a lot of people see this. Even people in their own states are starting to understand this. People are starting to wake up to the lies that the Democrats espouse. Ultimately, if you read the book of Revelation, we understand that there's no way that even in the regular world, Satan doesn't prosper. He never prospers, ever. And this is why we ultimately know in the book of Revelations that Satan has to give his power over to the beast, to the Antichrist. That's the only way that Satan is going to be able to achieve what Satan really wants, which is worship. So anywhere that he's going to fail continuously all the fucking time. And so we see right now that this is the Democrat Party. Satan is the Democrat Party in the United States, regardless. Now, that doesn't mean that he can't shift to the fucking Republican Party. It doesn't mean that, oh, yeah, well, Satan, well, he's the Democrat Party. You defeat the Democrat Party, all of a sudden Satan's gone. That's just not how it works. You know what I'm saying? You never make a deal with Satan. This is why you never make a deal with Satan, is because you're never going to prosper. It's never going to benefit you. And this is exactly what we got going on with the people who routinely still vote Democrats. Now, it's fewer. A lot of people have woken up, particularly after Bernie Sanders got screwed by the party and whatnot. He wasn't going to be effective. He wasn't going to accomplish the goals. So Bernie Sanders ended up getting screwed. A lot of people migrated basically to Trump. I'm not a big Trump fan, to be honest with you. I'm not the biggest Trump fan in the world. Definitely better. I was a big Trump fan because I was a big Hillary hater, and because Hillary is Satan, basically. Lies, deception, and inversion. That's what I was thinking, looking at for regarding Satan's tactics and the left. Yeah, the song is very good and well done, but it's very dark, and the message is very bad. Like I said, I'd have to listen to it. It's probably like one of those John fucking Lennon songs. Watch that. Imagine There's No Heaven. That shit's fucking ridiculous. But everybody tries to make it seem like it's this peaceful and just loving and caring song and all that. Not really. It's one of those songs that it's confusion. It is a deception. And Andre's right at the end of the day. So you got to be careful. You got to protect, because it doesn't matter, because I know like a lot of people are like, quit judging me. Quit judging. That's the whole reason we're fucking here, is to judge. That's the whole reason why we're here. We're here to learn, understand why sin is bad, why these things always cause all this negative chaos. That's the whole reason why we're here. So, you're just going to have to get over it. I'm going to have an opinion one way or the other. Doesn't mean that I'm perfect, but I'm not going to sit there and ignore the fact that the left is sitting there talking about women who get pregnant and kill force a stillborn pregnancy and then burn it alive and then bury it in the backyard, and then sit there and try to accuse Facebook and the cops of doing something nefarious. Are you fucking kidding me? But that's how the left operates. So they know that they're not winning in this country anymore. Actually, for the most part, a lot of people are starting to shift to a more, and this is why I say that Satan is going to have to make a deal with the Antichrist. This is why it says in the Bible. But if you see, more and more people are starting to go ahead and lean, if they're not becoming Christian, they're starting to lean more towards the Christian point of view at the end of the day. And you start to see this all over the internet, all over, YouTube's, you go back and look at the Christian channels, people are doing a lot more, and people are awakening to a degree spiritually, to some degree, they're waking up spiritually now. It doesn't mean that they're all true Christians, but they're just waking up. They're becoming aware. This is, of course, also foretold in the Bible. This is what people call the apocalypse, the awakening, the unveiling is what it is. So, with that being said, the Democrats, the party of Satan, understand that they're losing control of this country in particular, and so this is what they do. They cause confusion. So, like I said, I don't know if the FBI actually are rated Mar-a-Lago. I just hear the shit on Twitter for the most part. And you got to take everything on Twitter with a grain of salt, particularly if it's going viral, because a lot of the shit that goes viral on Twitter, all of it, most of it is psychological operations. There's no real, it's just staged events being recorded mainly for the first off, the media does it because they're going to get, an audience because they've lost most of their audience. People don't care. None of their shit's, trending like it used to. These entertainers don't have the following like they used to. A Tom Holland or a Michael B. Jordan or who's it, Zendaya or whatever was on the fucking Spider-Man movie. They don't have the following like your Kevin Costner's, your Denzel Washington's, your Halle Berry's. Those were celebrities. These are trends, basically. It's everybody's a trend right now. So, it's just everybody trying to get a little bit of trend, trying to get a little bit of attention, to conflate their ego. And they're desperate. They're desperate because, used to celebrities had influence. Like if Sandra Bullock sat down for an interview, people would watch that interview, particularly fans of Sandra Bullock, and they'd say, "Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Whatever." These people, nobody could care fucking less, to be honest, what they have to say. Like Chris Evans, perfect fucking example. 9 times out of 10, if I see a Chris Evans interview, I'm probably going to skip it because I'm not interested. You know what I'm saying? It's just the products are shit now. The song basically weaponizes everything bad going on in the world and blames it on God. Yeah, well, like I said, the reason why we're here on this world is to go ahead and, strengthen our faith, for one thing, to build up our patience, and to make us stronger. It's trial by fire. Anybody that understands, only the weak people will sit there and blame God. But it's your own. It's to get ultimately to judge sin. That's the whole reason we're here. So, and so that's basically the way the Bible explains it. And of course, you're going to have Satan sitting there giving out his deceptions and shit like that, which he's been doing a lot of here lately, I've noticed. So, they're trying to instigate a civil war. So, you'll hear the people like Tucker Carlson and other people on the right. Steven Crowder has come out. Oh yeah, this is what we need to do. They talk tough. Okay, did you get the fucking vaccine? Did you get the vaccine? Did you allow them to mandate the vaccine? Did you allow them to go ahead and do vaccine identifications? Well, I'm sorry, I don't put any fucking stock that you're actually going to take up arms and go to Washington D.C. and start the revolution. And this is to Steven Crowder, with all due respect, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool. But I don't think Tim Pool actually took the vaccine, to be honest with you. I don't know. But all these people that are sitting there talking about how they're going to start the revolution, you also decided not to fight back whenever they were pushing that vaccine. So let's be real. None of you people actually are can be taken seriously. From me personally, somebody who's in the military, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh yeah, you know what, Tucker Carlson's calling for a civil war. We should back this rally behind the guy who went ahead and fucking ended up taking the VAXX on fucking camera and shit. Yeah, let's go and rally behind that guy. That IRS deal is way more important than people are assuming. It is. They brought an insane amount of ammo months ago. They've bought insane amount of ammo for like about 3 or 4 years now, of 40 rounds. This is your government weaponizing itself against the people, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. And I'll tell you why. They don't have the capacity to do exactly what they would like to do. 87,000 IRS agents, okay. Yeah, that's still what you're I think that's it's basically like quadrupling the fucking IRS. It's insane. Don't get me wrong, but it's not enough to make a dent in how much they'd get their ass kicked if they went ahead and tried to actively enforce their tyrannical bullshit. It's going to be interesting what it goes down in 2022 because, like I said, ultimately they've built up a cult of personality here in this country, and that's Donald Trump. Donald Trump, regardless of what you think one way or the other, it doesn't really matter. He's a cult of personality. This is the most extreme fucking following that I've ever seen. It's even worse than the Obama following. It's absolutely insane. And I can tell you right now, most of the people, like, there was like maybe half the people that I knew were polarized by Obama, that were like, strong Obama supporters, and most of them were Democrats. But it was like, like maybe half the fucking people that I knew, everybody's like, oh, Obama. I still know Obama supporters. So there's no doubt that Obama had a following. He was a cult of personality to a degree whenever he first started. Now, whenever he got into office, he killed off his cult of personality because of bad Clinton policies. But he was a cult of personality. But it was nothing like this. This is absolutely fucking insane. The cult of personality that Donald Trump has. And granted, they're right for the most part because, you hear these little columnists say, oh, what does Trump got? What do we got to do to get Trump in trouble? You got to be right. You got to stop lying. You've got to actually build up some credit. The reason why Trump could probably go out and do something nefarious and nobody's going to believe you. You're the boy that cried wolf. Nobody likes you. Nobody believes you. Everybody knows how you screwed us over. Everybody knows how you just run cover for everybody else. And we can't get anything accomplished. So, no, nobody's going to buy anything that you do regarding Trump. And the people who support Trump are so fed up with these people and their corruption that there's the more that they attack Donald Trump, the better it is for Donald Trump. This is why you're not going to get a civil war, is because, like I said, there has to be a balance there. You may have about anywhere from 20 to 25 million Democrats out there in this country left that are still supporting the Democrats, but most of the people don't really care for the Democrats, are just non-biased. And, there's just not enough to support. There's not enough support that they could get behind the military to actively, even if they tried to pursue a civil war, to actively deter any kind of real, even if it was just 10% of the Trump, even if it was just 10% of the Trump movement, the MAGA movement, that would be enough to go ahead and destroy our infrastructure and to basically call for a reset of our government. Way down the road, mark my word, Eric Trump will run, and in all honesty, he seems like the most genius, honest, and value-based Trump. I had to sit there and listen to some of Eric Trump's stuff. I'm not as familiar with Eric Trump. I'm a Rand Paul guy myself. I'd love to see Rand Paul get into office. That's my guy. Audit the Federal Reserve. Start cutting these three-letter agencies. Get rid of all their pensions. You wouldn't believe how much we could decrease the federal budget by getting rid of the public school system and sending it back to the states and letting the states go back. Getting rid of a lot of these three-lettered agencies and shit, and getting rid of those pensions and stuff like that, and just offloading a lot of the shit. How much we could how easily we could balance the budget, and where we wouldn't have to worry about these recessions and depressions anymore. I honestly think your political videos, when you are completely serious, you're among the best. I think you're superb. I appreciate it, Andre. Yeah, But yeah, I doubt. I seem to be getting a little bit more interest in viewers on this channel, but that's because this channel isn't shadow banned like my Prodigal Hill. But let's be real, none of us are going to get any real viewership on here. It doesn't matter how hard we try, and this is because that YouTube isn't for the independents anymore. They're trying to generate some sort of cable subscription, and in fact, they ought to just split it up into two separate, brands, and have YouTube, say Premium, be one brand, and then YouTube Independent be the other, and then just have the content creators. What's up, Scott Casey Gill? Do their shit on the other one. But this is far past the day of, you know, you getting honest subscribers by putting out videos and hoping somebody picks it up and it goes viral. But with that being said, it seems like the State Department is trying to push the Civil War narrative, man, and Canada, fucking Trudeau has tried to say Trudeau's in the same position as our Democrats are, and in fact, they're all together. They're all little globalists and stuff. Um, and if you really wanted to get into global politics, what you're looking at is the Trotsky communists versus the Stalinist communists. And ultimately, I think that this would probably technically what's going on across the world. It probably benefits the people that are more of a Stalinist, communist based than the Trotskys. Trotskys are kind of like unipolar, I think, and the Stalinists are kind of multipolar. So that's what you have: unipolar globalist and multipolar globalist. And so that's really what's set up. But ultimately, the new world order as it stands, or that it's known, with like your trilaterals, your Council of Foreign Relations, your World Economical Forums, is starting to collapse. And basically, it's because of the Trans-Pacific Partnership policies that they've tried to implement. And I've, did videos back in 2014 that would probably still be up today if YouTube hadn't have terminated my main channel about that, saying that, yeah, this would ultimately cause the collapse of the world government anyways, because it would cause the collapse of the economy. And, no doubt that eventually that the economy will be killed off, that the dollar will be killed off. But ultimately, I don't think that we're quite at that time yet. I don't think that that's the timeline that we're at right now. So I think that that's still a few more years off. However, they're doing everything to expedite this. And I think that this is a big mistake, because ultimately, whenever and I get it, Satan understands that his time is short. These people understand that they don't have much time. They get it. And it doesn't matter. You're going to fucking lose at the end of the day anyways. So I don't really understand why you think that you have to rush everything, because it's not going to affect the outcome one way or the other. It never does. But they're trying to rush the downfall of our economy. So they understand that they implement the little Inflation Reduction Act, which is stupid. I called Ted Cruz, by the way, and said, yeah, there's nothing in this bill that's going to actually reduce fucking inflation. It's an atrocious fucking bill, and you need to vote no. Ted Cruz is going to vote no anyways, regardless. But I still called him, left my information. Yo, Ted, give me a call back. And then you can go. I'll give you a message to send Nancy Pelosi. You can tell her to go fuck herself with her stupid fucking bills. And in fact, put down the crayon, go into the fucking retirement home, and we'll carry on. But I think that the Democrats totally understand that they're gonna they can't. Whenever they looked at the primaries, whenever they looked at the votes for the primaries, whenever they seen the energy of the GOP and the Trump candidates, well, that set another panic in, because the Democrats, they know that they can't beat Trump. They understand this. Satan fucking understands that the more shit that he flings on Trump, the worse that it fucking gets. And so uh, they're in a position of desperation because Trump has been built up to be a fucking heel. He was built up to be beat ever since I was a fucking kid. Ever since I was watching shit in the 80s, like, and I wouldn't fucking want to watch them, but, they'd be on TV. My mom, my grandma, somebody would be watching Current Affair or Inside Edition about these soap opera celebrities and shit like that. And I would, see Trump on TV, Oprah Winfrey, whenever they'd watch that shit. And Trump was all over TV. And, he was kind of built as a heel back then, even back in the 90s. Even with your, you look at Biff Tannen, who ended up being a version of, a representation of Trump to some degree or another, and various other, movies and subplots and stuff like that. It was very apparent that they were, planning this for fucking years for Trump to lose, actually, I think, to Hillary. I think that was the idea. And so, I still think that Trump was meant to lose, although, he has become that cult of personality. But I do think that they did want Hillary in office ultimately because the Trans-Pacific Partnership would have been passed. She would have passed it immediately. And you wouldn't have been able to say anything because they would call you a sexist if you said anything against Hillary. So they understand that they fucked up. They fucked up royally. And ultimately, the reason that they fucked up royally is that, the internet came out. Welcome to the apocalypse. People are making videos. They didn't expect people to understand a lot of the shit that was going on. They didn't expect people to really communicate like they did. They expected people to maybe have their circle of friends, but for the most part, everybody was still going to rely on their media narratives. But people understood. They ended up waking up and they understood how fucking evil these people are. I like Rand, but I think he's going light on the Jesuit Anthony Fauci, and it makes me wonder why. He makes it look like he's going hard at Anthony, but he's really not. And Trump's a Jesuit too, to be honest with you. Just to let you know, Trump is a Jesuit. And fucking I believe that Trudeau, if Trudeau isn't a Catholic, he's a Jesuit too. So there's actually, yeah, there's actually quite a few people affiliated with Catholicism, and that leads on to another topic for another day of where this is why I see it going this way. However, like I said, whenever you look at the Democrats, they know they're screwed. They know they're screwed. It's an act of desperation. So, and I think that ultimately the cult of personality is going behind Trump. I do think that I don't think that Biden will make it all the way through his term. I believe that he will be impeached. I think that, well, if he's not impeached, if he's not just totally impeached and repealed and, taken out of office, then Trump could potentially, Trump will still win. It doesn't matter. The Republicans are taking the House in 2024. So the next president will be a Republican regardless. And whoever that Republican is, whether it be Trump, whether it be DeSantis, we know Trump is running. He's fucking running 2 years out. That's fucking insane. But, we know he's running. So we know that he's probably going to be president. Whenever he gets into office, then it's going to be the Democrats painting him out to be the Antichrist. Now, Trump doesn't qualify to be the Antichrist. He's not going to be the Antichrist. But that's what they're going to fucking paint him out as. And ultimately, they've built this cult of personality around him. I know, for example, my Rumble channel was at 32 subscribers. Oh, you need to give me the damn link to the channel. Because I typed in Andre Corbill. Is it Weed and Wrestling on Rumble? Is that the channel name? Yeah, because I typed in Andre Corbill and it didn't come up. So I didn't know what name you were using. So I was going to subscribe to you whenever I started using Rumble. But Andre Corbill didn't come up. Maybe I'll try Weed and Wrestling. I know, for example, my Rumble channel was at 32 and my YouTube channel was at around 500. Just the past 4 months, my Rumble channel has jumped past YouTube and is now nearing 1,800 subs. That's good, man. That's good. I don't hardly have any subs, but I don't have any content up on Rumble either. I need to start doing more on Rumble. I need to find some of these apps that these people use to upload to Rumble, YouTube, and to their. I need to get with like Hard Bastard and find out what apps he uses because he live streams on Rumble too. The Republicans will win the 2022 midterms, and so to a degree, and I need to do a video on the actual tribulations versus the pseudo tribulations, because I think that while we're in the apocalypse, we're heading into a pseudo tribulation to go ahead and set up to bring in the Antichrist. That's what this is for the most part. And so that's why I'm not too panicked about it, to be honest with you. And, the left are going to try to set themselves up to be a martyr. That's really, at the end of the day, the only other position that they have. Me, myself, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, ultimately, there's only three options, and you can go back and listen to the three options in my last video. I go through them very vehemently. These are the only three options in the direction that we're going. These are the only three options that are going to be the outcome. And I can tell you that the first option is the least likely. And in fact, it's almost nearly impossible at this fucking point, with the most likely being the last option. But they're trying to push a civil war because they know that the Republicans are going to win the primaries. They know that they're going to lose the House, and they know that they're going to lose the Senate. They know that either way it goes, they're fucked. It doesn't matter if the fucking communists end up coming in and taking over. It doesn't matter, because even if the communists come in and take over, then they're going to get rid of the media because the media is a fucking liability. If there's a civil war, right, scenario, and it would be a revolution. It wouldn't be a civil war. The left is hoping that if they go ahead and coax the right into escalation, even, first off, it's only going to be a proxy, and they're going to use this to go ahead and justify doing something fucking retarded, like they always fucking do, doing something completely fucking only fucking Democrats would even fucking remotely think of with their toilet fucking brains. That's the only reason that it's all a fucking, so they could justify doing some more stupid bullshit that nobody's gonna like. Oh, well, we've got to do this because of that shit we put on TV. Well, I guarantee you, we go ahead and start going ahead and holding you people accountable for your fucking crimes. We're not gonna have to worry about you making up shit to go ahead and justify you passing this fucking law. We won't have to worry about you making these stupid fucking laws anymore if we go ahead and start holding you accountable for the propaganda you put out. You see what I'm saying? But, that's part of the reason they're going to want to instigate. They already ran some stupid fucking story about a guy who ended up, what was it, in Cincinnati? Oh, one guy. It's always one guy, and I guarantee you he probably had an AR. He had an AR. He had an AR. Is it just me, or does anybody else find Carrie Lake sexy? You know what? I think that I think she'd be sexier if she went by Crystal Lake and just came out with a fucking Jason mask and stuff and just started saying, "This is what I'm going to do to fucking Democrats." But yeah, I find her attractive. And so, but this is where we're at right now. And so, yeah, if anything, if they were to coax the right into any kind of real civil war at this point in time, they feel like they have enough strength, particularly in the UK and various other countries right now, which their strengths are depleting as well. Their confidence, and they're having issues in their own countries. But they feel like they could get a UN and involved and have troops, which isn't going to really do any good, particularly if you lost control of all the fucking vets in here. It would be fucking insane if these Trump supporters got together If all of these preppers got together with all the vets, it wouldn't even be close. It would be the fucking, it would be a revolution. It would be more like what happened in France in the French Revolution. That's what would probably happen. That would be the ultimate outcome because the left doesn't have enough supporters to sustain any kind of real civil war. So that's just where we're at right now. But they're hoping that, well, if the right does, start to organize and start this, and how would you even do a fucking? It's impossible. It's impossible. It's not gonna fucking happen. And like I said, the people that got the vaccine and got the mandates and shit that were, Republicans and stuff are not going to be the ones that are going to, like your Tucker Carlsons and your Steven Crowders. They can say Ben Shapiro's and whatnot, these people that went out, got the vaccine. We need to get the vaccine. I'm not an anti-vaxxer that are too afraid to sit there and question the vaccine or whatnot. They're not going to start no civil war. They're domesticated. You know what I'm saying? Say what you will. You may like Steven Crowder. You may think he's a cool fucking guy. The same thing about Tucker Carlson. You may like Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity. It doesn't matter. These people are domesticated. They're not about to fuck. They'll sit there and clamor about it. They'll sit there and saber rattle, but they're not going to start a civil war. And that's just a fact. They'll sit there and try to agitate their fucking followers, I guess, and saber rattle. Oh, this is need to take action against the FBI. We just need to abolish the whole fucking thing. Get rid of the NDAA and get rid of a lot of these organizations. In fact, just centralize the whole federal government, reinstitute another fucking federal government, central federal government in, like, say, Nebraska or something, and only give them the power to go ahead and handle commerce and disputes between the states, stuff like that, and border disputes and shit like that, and let states go ahead and manage their own affairs for the most part. But the fucking Republicans are not going to do that because it takes power away from them, and the Democrats are not going to do it neither. So yeah, this is where we're at right now. It doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't benefit anybody right now that are positioned against the centralized government and the Democrats as a whole, because we already see how bad they're collapsing. This is an act of desperation. It was an act of desperation to sit there and put this out there. It was an act of desperation to do, all of these so-called gun story narratives that they run in the media, like sometimes 4 or 5 a year, to try and pass gun legislation. If your legislation was legitimate, you wouldn't have to pass all of this bullshit. If it was in my best interest, I would understand. You could convince me that it was in my best interest. I'd be like, oh, okay, you know what? You make a very good, valid points. And so, yeah, okay, I'll agree with you. But they're not in my best interest. Yeah, I know Trump's a Jesuit. He's kind of a rogue one, though. I knew he was a Jesuit after I took a look at his kitchen ceiling. I know that sounds crazy to the person not looking, but I know, I'd have to look at it. I've never seen Trump's kitchen ceiling, so to be honest with you, I don't really know. Like, as far as like personal wise, just I just didn't follow a lot of fucking Trump, to be honest with you. Trump worships Apollo. Anyone who gravitates towards Apollo is a Jesuit. Yeah, and that makes sense because the Catholics are pretty much pagans anyways. So they worship Apollo, Mars, and all this other shit. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, this is where we're quickly heading, and I do think that ultimately all of this shit leads to Rome. It all leads to Rome. It all leads to Rome at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the fucking Democrats are doing. It doesn't matter. The Republicans are going to be a little bit more conducive towards that. As Christians, they're going to be more, it's just going to be a more conducive base towards that. But it doesn't fucking matter. It's all still going to lead to fucking Rome. And we all know who runs Rome right now. And, I understand it's a necessary evil, I guess. It's a necessity. The shit happens. So, like I said, It doesn't really bother me at the end of the day. But the deal is that, this is the same old shit. This is desperation from the left. And effectively, the Republicans have nothing to gain. If you're a Republican or if you despise the Democrats, you have nothing to gain from a civil war because it would be much easier. You're going to get a lot of bloodshed. You're going to lose a lot of lives. Regardless, it's still going to cause a lot of lives. A lot of people would end up dying. They wouldn't have to end up dying. And no, just type in Andre C in one word. Andre Corbill. Oh, okay. I'll try it whenever I get off here. I'll type it up into one word. See if I could find it. But yeah, it doesn't benefit the Republicans at all, and it doesn't benefit the non-Republicans. The only people who benefit from it are the Democrats because they are the party of Satan. They hate you. They hate this country. They could sit there and claim that they're for your rights. They're for fucking higher minimum wage. Oh, we're trying to go ahead and take more of your money through these taxes, even though we just went ahead and inflated your currency. Inflation's going up. We'll go ahead and take so much of your money so we can go ahead and put it into and invest it into shit that we would rather see succeed rather than, investing it into you. And they have you going for it. So that's what Satan does. He confuses you. The fucking taxes, if the fucking, for climate change, how much money in the fucking 47 years of the G7 and all the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that they've fucking taken in over those years for, climate change, you still have no renewable fuel. You don't even have a cure for cancer. You know what I'm saying? There's still no alternative form. Whenever the government takes the money, whenever these governments take the money, it's stagnant. It's worthless. You're not going to get any advancements. There's nothing that's going to come out. There's no, incentive for them to go ahead and make your life more convenient, just to go ahead and make you more controlled. So, yeah, you could sit there and say, oh, we need to tax the rich. They don't tax them people. They're not going to get taxed at all. So stop it. Shut the fuck up if you're a leftist. Because I don't care to hear your stupidity. I already know better than that shit. You mean you want to tax me, and I don't feel like being taxed. And, it's all about fucking control. Once you understand that, then you can stop being useful tools for the Democrats, and you can stop being a tool for Satan. That doesn't mean that the Republicans aren't going to fucking flip and then turn into the same tyrannical fucking douches that the Democrats are. But right now, Democrats are the party of Satan. They are Satan right now. They are the globalists, and that's it. That's it. I know that all of these people will sit there and claim that they have some sort of inside information. They'll break it down for you, and they'll confuse you, and they'll say, "This is where your tax dollars go." Here, I looked up an authoritative source, and this is what it says right here. And that's what they'll say on their little fucking channels and shit, but they don't know. They're just going off of the same motherfuckers who have lied to them and lied to myself for years, in some cases hundreds of fucking years, and that they haven't solved anything. Ask them at any given time. With all these taxes that you've accumulated in the government, what has it accomplished? However, whenever you see the most growth, the most innovation, the most transfer of wealth is whenever the taxes are cut. Now, they'll sit there and switch shit around and they'll play with it, but they're lying to you. They're lying to you. The money that you make should be yours. And if you're in charge of your own money, you're going to know what to do, how it's going to affect you and the best, investment for you. Some people don't. Some people are going to still make mistakes, but it's, not everybody should pay for it. Those people are, they're going to make mistakes, and they have to live with those mistakes that they make. It's not, I'm not reliable for their mistakes. I'm reliable for the mistakes that I make. However, yeah, the money becomes stagnant. It becomes useless, and whenever they have it. So ultimately, this is what we're looking at. And ultimately, part of the reason why they're pushing this Civil War shit is so they can go ahead and steal a lot more of your money through their Inflation Reduction Act, which was completely fucking stupid. It's just the opposite. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I just wanted to go ahead and do a video and get this out there. I'm going to go back to watching Hard Bastard. You people tell me what you think. You like, sub, do the shit YouTube tells me to do to get over. And for now, I'm out.